Well, Good Friday. Another Friday is here, and as far as the weather goes, we couldn't ask for much more, certainly for this time of year. And you can ask all you want, but you're not going to get these conditions for your weekend. A cold front's still coming. Very little rain associated with it, and we need the rain. We'll probably start focusing on our rain and maybe even our water supply next week, just checking in and taking a look-see. But certainly things are dry, and of course, remember, it is forest fire hazard season, so you're not allowed to legally burn anything between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. And then after that, when you are, you need to keep a close eye on it because, of course, it is just getting drier. And it's been one of the driest Septembers, and we're having a rather dry October still, and no real rainy weather pattern in sight. We'll talk more about that in a few moments. I have an accident that happened earlier today. I have what's coming along nicely and will happen to come together really quickly at the end for a really beautiful and deserving and honorable Veterans Monument in the Ramey Park. We'll take a little tour and see what they have left. Shaping up very, very nicely. And a host of other news and information. A Kentucky road closure, a Magoffin County road closure, I should stress, for next Tuesday, Route 1437, that's Literal Fork Road, will be closed because they are making some repairs. The road will be closed from 8 a.m. until 3:30 for drilling to repair a break in the pavement. If you travel that road, I'm sure you're familiar with where that break is. I am not there quite often, but more so on the Mine Fork side of things when I am there. And was there just a couple of weeks ago, actually. But nevertheless, so wherever that is, that's where they'll be doing the work. And if you have to go through that, as about 450 vehicles do daily, surprised to hear that, you will need to make an alternate route on 40 or 1081 to get to where you're going. So Literal closed Tuesday from 8 until 3 for drilling to repair, I'm sure, a much needed break in the pavement. A former Kentucky sheriff was sentenced today to over a year in federal prison. 70-year-old former Greenup County Sheriff Keith Cooper was sentenced to 13 months by U.S. District Judge Gregory Van Tatenhoff for one count of mail fraud and one count of federal program fraud for multiple, apparently according to the court documents, acts of theft. According to those documents, when he was the Greenup County Sheriff, which he was for about 20 years, until he retired in 2018, he had access to funds from the sheriff's office that the office seized from drug trafficking investigations, including a bank account that was there to hold those proceeds. And over about 4 years, federal authorities say he made numerous unauthorized cash withdrawals and unlawfully retained proceeds from drug trafficking investigations instead of depositing them into the proper account, totaling some over $58,000, which included $46,000 in unexplained cash withdrawals from the bank account and $12,000 and some change in forfeited proceeds that should have been deposited into that account. He also, they say, wrongfully took about $29,000, almost $30,000 in ammunition for his own personal use that was paid for with sheriff's office funding, and then used almost $2,000 for gas to pay for his personal trips in 2018. It's a federal case. Federal sentencing means 85% of his sentence of 13 months must be served. He will also have a year of supervised release afterward and have a fine of $10,000. And a farmer from Kentucky has been sentenced for crop fraud, and he is now just one of the several defendants in the case to be sentenced. 59-year-old Randall Tobby of Carlisle, Kentucky, was sentenced to 30 months in federal prison yesterday by Judge Karen Caldwell, after he'd already pled guilty to 2 counts of conspiring to defraud the United States by committing crop fraud insurance. We've had similar cases like this to the tune of 2 or 3 or 4 a year, perhaps, in Kentucky over the course of the past few years, to say the least. According to his plea agreement, Tobby, who was magistrate in Bourbon County from 2018 until he resigned earlier this year, owned and rented farmland in Bourbon and Nicholas counties where he produced tobacco and corn that he started to insure through the federal crop insurance program in 2009 and in 2013. And then starting in at least March of 2013 through November of 17, he admitted to working with his co-defendants, brother-in-law James McDonald and his sister Sherry Lynn Noble, and his insurance agent, to falsify crop insurance policies and claims of loss. He falsely stated that he was a new producer. He overreported his acreage. He submitted records from a farm supply store, he failed to report crop sales on his insurance claims and loss, and submitted false claims of loss documentation on private crop hail crop insurance policies. The co-defendants already sentenced. McDonald got 6 months, 2 years supervised release, and about $718,000 to pay in restitution. Noble received probation and community service, but had to pay back $263,000 in restitution. A McGoffin County man suffered injuries this morning in a two-vehicle accident in which two vehicles did not make contact. However, one, according to the injured and his report to authorities, pulled out into the path of the other on Route 30. I'll be right back.
There where every day starts, it's made and it ends. From hitting the floor to hitting the road and back, your feet carry the day's duties. And if you're hurting from what might be a work or sports or stress-related fracture you don't even know about, diabetic, or that all too often heel pain that just won't go away, or any type of pain or discomfort or in need of wound care, come to where they care.
Put your best foot forward and come visit our podiatry team. We care about our patients and their feet.
That's Dr. Cheney and her team at Hope Family Podiatry Center next to Hope Family Pediatrics on the Mountain Parkway.
I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in small town values.
And Mom and Dad and the things they handed down.
I believe some of the best people in the world are farmers.
I believe in insurance that protects families, homes, and cars.
I believe in always finding a way to do what you love.
I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
2 locations, 2 ATMs, too much history, over 120 years, and just too many reasons not to trust the oldest, only banking family that exists for the sole purpose of helping your families, our friends, grow financially and securely. Lean on Sigersville National Bank for any of your home, auto, commercial, retirement, or online banking needs. And let us help you make your dreams come true.
Appalachian Wireless is making it so easy and affordable to stay connected to friends, family, and the world. With the Forward Pay Unlimited or Unlimited Plus plan, get $50 off any Forward Pay device. And don't forget, with Forward Pay, there are no credit checks or long-term contracts. It's Forward Pay on the region's premier network, Appalachian Wireless. We get you because we are you. We are Appalachian Wireless. Activation fee required. Discount applied at point of sale.
McGoffin County Sheriff's Department and the McGoffin County Rescue Squad and EMS were called to a motorcycle accident on Burning Fork right around 5:30 as I was just preparing to do the show. The initial call came in of a man lying in the road on Burning Fork in front of Jim Arnett Branch. I'm hopeful to have an update on the accident and hopefully a good condition report for the victim before I leave you. I do have the following details about a crash that happened this morning, a very serious one in nature. McGoffin County man traveling on Route 30 when, according to his statement to police, a vehicle exiting Lark Arnett Hill pulled into his path, forcing him off the road to avoid a collision, which he did, but tearing a utility pole in half and then going over an embankment before his truck overturned.
Deaton was in his pickup truck with a gooseneck trailer in tow when he was headed in the direction of Breathitt County, if you will, on Route 30. And coming up on Route 378, he told McGoffin County Sheriff's Deputy Tim Clark that a passenger car exiting the Lark Arnett Hill, Route 378, was pulling out and pulled into his path, and in an effort to miss it, he swerved going, he said, behind the passenger car as it continued on out into traffic flow on Route 30, and then striking that utility pole, clipping it in half, as you can see, and then sending his truck and trailer careening across the roadway and then into the ditch liner culvert, as you see here. Deaton was either out upon arrival, emergency personnel were able to get out on his own, but did suffer possibly serious injuries, unknown at this time, but was taken by ambulance to an area hospital for those injuries as the accident remains under investigation per Deputy Clark with the McGoffin County Sheriff's Department. There was no contact between his vehicle and the vehicle that he asserts pulled out in front of him, and therefore no injury sustained by the other occupants involved.
Driving by the Ramey Park, which I do, as do many people, perhaps no one more than me, I forget a lot of things when I leave the house. I go by it multiple, maybe even well over a dozen times daily, and that's maybe even conservative. So I kind of see what's going on. And the Veterans Monument Memorial has come along quite nicely here as of late, and it's all going to kind of be finished all at once with only a few major things left, which are going to happen quickly and somewhat simultaneously and before Veterans Day. It is going to be one of, if not the nicest, Veterans Memorial in not just Eastern Kentucky, but the state. And I don't say that lightly, and neither does McGoffin County Judge Executive Matt Wireman.
It is a project to be proud of, one funded, as we've covered before, but we'll recap quickly with the judge by multiple funding sources, which has made it possible to be done to the extent that it will be.
We funded this initially. We was doing it with cold severance like we've done everything else here in the park. But we became aware of a grant through the Kentucky Veterans Foundation. And what that is, that's funded by all of the license plates, the veteran license plates that you see. All the extra money from that goes into this fund, to this foundation. And then veterans organizations submit grant requests to this foundation, and they have a board, and those board review them, and then they allot monies. At the initial cost estimates was about $70,000, so we asked for half of it, and it's since, with all the way things are in the economy right now, it's a little more than that. But we went through, filed an application with the Veterans Foundation. Lloyd Sire, the commander of this local DAV, and I met with the board and presented our case, and 5 minutes later they called us back and said they've given us $35,000. So everything's worked out real well. Supply chain issues have slowed us down some, but we are nearing completion. We have a wrought iron fence that's going to be going around the perimeter. That'll happen the week of October 25th. We'll have sod down, and then on November the 11th at 11 o'clock in the morning, we're going to have our veterans ceremony and groundbreaking for this and for the naming of the Dixie Bridge to Veterans Memorial Bridge.
Give me a few little quick details about the amenities, the lights, the flags. Give me a quick rundown.
What we have is we have 7 flagpoles going around the perimeter because there's now 6 branches of the military. We got the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and now Space Force. And that was something that the Veterans Foundation, they did specifically ask, had we allotted a flagpole for the Space Force, so yes, we will. And then we have one for the POW-MIA flag. We put a new flagpole in for the U.S. flag. It stands taller than all the rest of them. Every flag will have a light pointing at it dusk to dawn, as well as the monument on both sides. So at night, this place will be lit up real nice, and it'll be noticed from, you can notice it now as you drive by on 460. You can see it over here. So we're going to have a show place for our veterans in our community, and I think everyone will be really proud of the end result.
And the last things to really go, again, as the judge said, the sod, the wrought iron fence, which will go around the entire perimeter, and the lighting, and then that will be all happening within just days of each other, and then in a flash, it's going to be a sight to see, and one, of course, that we hope everyone will be a part of, dedicating on November the 11th.
I'll be right back. I've got your calendar announcement. Sad to say, several new funeral services to pass along as well, but we'll get to all of that and see what's happening first and foremost on our McGoffin Farm Bureau calendar in just a second.
Logan Corporation in Sagersville is now hiring. Due to continued growth and expansion, Logan Corporation is now looking for all local welders and fabricators, and experience is not necessary. For full-time positions with benefits, applications must be picked up at the Logan Corporation office at 124 Ward Road off of Parkway Drive in downtown Sagersville. Logan Corporation since 1904 and a leader in the manufacture of mining and truck equipment. The reassurance of getting your medications and over-the-counter needs at Sayersville's oldest and most trusted pharmacy. The convenience of curbside pickup and call-ahead service. And the fact that you can walk in, order to go, or sit down and get gourmet quality hot fudge brownies, nachos, shakes, coffees, hot dogs with homemade sauce, desserts, and more makes it more than your hometown Good Neighbor Pharmacy. It's a destination in downtown Sayersville, Frazier's Prater Drugstore. It doesn't get any sweeter than that.
When Joe Biden abused his power and opened the southern border, I took him to court. When Biden mandated vaccines, I got it reversed. When Biden drove up the price of new cars and gas at the pump, I rallied a dozen state governments to block him. Now the Washington liberals want to change our country for the worse. As your governor, I will fight them every day. Andy Beshear, he never will. I'm Daniel Cameron, and I put Kentucky first, even when it's hard.
On tonight's McGoffin Farm Bureau calendar, there's a big horse show in McGoffin County tomorrow, and it's going to be at the Horse Park, of course, and it's going to start at, well, the gates will open at 3, the show will start at 5, and this is for the Coats for Kids program, sponsored and hosted by the Sayersville Masonic Lodge. They've got, look at all those classes, 30, great show. It's going to be a great fall day. The rains will be gone by then, and the concessions, I believe the McGoffin County Boys Basketball Program, I think, providing concessions. A lot of great eats, as you will see there. So be sure and come down and see a wonderful horse show tomorrow. Support the McGoffin County Basketball Program and Coats for Kids. Also, tomorrow, Happy Halloween Family Fun Night, 4 to 9, tomorrow night at the Middle Fork Fire Department. Free food, free games, free candy, costumes, and movies, chili, and hot dogs, 4 to 9. Happy, a bit early Halloween for the Middle Fork Fire Department. Remember, tonight, of course, Casper in the City Park starting at 8. They've got free popcorn and refreshments, and then the Pumpkin Run 5K is 5:30 next Monday, and then from there, of course, it's the 26th for the big night in downtown Sayersville for, of course, the Halloween events and trunk or treat over in the City Park, and it all culminates with Thriller in downtown Sayersville later that night, and then trick or treat is going to be on the 31st, 6 to 8, that's city and county-wide. And they're also going to be having food trucks at the event on the 26th for the Spooktacular. And a pumpkin scavenger hunt, apparently, in the city of Sayersville as well. Contact the McGoffin County Public Library to find out more about that. Now, going on, a few other things happening in and around those happening through our McGoffin County Extension Service. Reminder for ladies, the McGoffin County Extension Service hosting a Pink Ribbon Fiesta, a Mexican fiesta luncheon honoring breast cancer survivors. Breast Cancer Awareness Month this October, as it is every, and they ask that you please call and register 349-3216 for lunch, a fiesta at noon on Thursday the 26th. And please, if you can, help support the Extension Backpack Food Program. The Backpack Program gets wonderful food to a lot of wonderful kids. Backpacks full. I've focused on this before, done a report on it at times, and it's just a wonderful program. And the contacts this time around, Palin Poe at 792-6099 and Tammy Lafferty as well. And another reminder, the McGoffin County Retired Teachers Organization is meeting this coming Thursday at 11 o'clock that morning in the McGoffin County Public Library. This meeting is a rescheduling that was to take place yesterday, but moved up till next Thursday, the 19th. Whenever you want to know what's going on or want someone to know what you have going on or whose birthday or anniversary it is, it's as simple as getting it to me via any of these links that you can, or to get those published in the Sayersville Independent. Heather's email is heather@SayersvilleIndependent.com. Just that simple. Oh, and by the way, Christmas in November is coming up at the Lloyd M. Hall Community Center, November the 3rd and 4th, and I'll have the contact information for you next week on how you can be a vendor. Moving on to funeral service announcements. Services are set for this Sunday at 1 for Ruth Smith Gamble, 66 of New Paintsville Road, who passed away Wednesday of this week, the daughter of the late James Wesley and Elsie Ray Fraley Smith. She survived by her husband Kenneth Lee Gamble, sisters Lois Jean Carr and Amber Van Cleve, Stella Ray Hensley, June Rose Talby, and a host of family and friends. Services for Ruth Gamble will be held Sunday at 1 from the Sayersville Funeral Home. The family will welcome friends tomorrow after 5, and prior to Sunday services, the Sayersville Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. And arrangements are pending at this hour at the McGoffin County Funeral Home for 65-year-old Lacey Bailey of Sagersville, who passed away today at the Pikeville Medical Center. And arrangements also incomplete at this hour, but to be announced through the McGoffin County Funeral Home for 51-year-old Maxie Brown Arnott of Sagersville. She passed away today at Hazard ARH, survived by her husband, Johnny Arnott, and her family. And again, her arrangements to be announced soon. Someone dies in the U.S. every 7 minutes from an overdose, and over half of the population gets or takes pills from a friend or relative. And about 46 million and counting are exposed to narcotics in their drinking water. So don't toss them, flush them, or leave them lying around. Safely dispose of your unneeded meds anytime at Parkway Pharmacy,
where you can always talk to a pharmacist when you need one.
Get the right fit, the right tread, and the reliability you need for whatever you're rolling in at Conley Tire, where right now through October the 31st, get a $100 rebate on Generals, $120 on Kumos, and go to conleytire.net to find other special offers on the biggest names, plus brakes, oil changes, and computer diagnostics, all with 6 months no interest at Conley Tire in Staffordsville. It's in the air and it's on the calendar. Fall is here and the seasonal shop is filled with new clothes for the season, new arrivals from Charlie Page, Mud Pie, Royce, and more. And the new shoes are some of their favorites that they've ever had. And beautiful t-shirts and sweatshirts for every occasion and season, plus new shirts for all the Wildcat fans, the McGoffin County Hornet fans, teachers, football mamas, and more. And fellas, they didn't leave us out either. After many requests, they have brought back the fan favorite turn rows, shirts, and hoodies, and they've got a large selection of Ridge and Holler. And if you need a little self-pampering, their new selection of spa gifts are the perfect gift idea or a treat for yourself. Fall and Halloween decor on the floor right now. It's gorgeous, and Christmas is coming through the door right now, all at the seasonal shop.
Now let's take a look at your Licking Valley RECC 7-day and how the weather is going to cooperate with the before-mentioned list of things going on in McGoffin County and around, of course, for your weekend. Another fall weekend is upon us, with the good news being right now the timing of still some light, I believe, rainfall.
And going back to the before-mentioned report of a motorcycle accident on Burning Fork just before the news started at the 6 o'clock hour, just did get some confirmation from EMS on scene that it was indeed a motorcyclist who lost control of the motorcycle near the intersection of Burning Fork and Jim Arnett Branch and did suffer some injuries, and I believe was to be taken by ambulance, possibly to the hospital, but those were not life-threatening and no other vehicles were involved, and that's all I have at this hour. I can show you, and not just tell you, but look there. There's a cold front. You can see the definition of it there, kind of making its way, and it will give us some light showers. We're going to be talking about our rainfall and lack thereof it here when we get into the news next week, I believe, and how it's been dry, and then we'll kind of check in and see what that kind of means environmentally and other factors. But for now, we do need the rain, and no one likes to have to put up with it, especially for the weekend. So we do have some during the overnight and still not adding up to a whole lot, to say the least. We do have a 40% chance of showers. That line is not expected to make anything wet around here until at least 2 a.m. or so. A low of 60 degrees tonight, and with that a southwest wind 3 to 8 miles per hour. Winds will pick up for your Saturday, and it will start off mostly cloudy, and showers will be likely to the tune of about 70% chance tomorrow for the first half of your Saturday or so. Showers likely and actually mainly up before 4. So any evening plans, any football plans perhaps for some, maybe tomorrow night, should go off. We have showers likely mainly before 4. Patchy fog as well tomorrow. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, a steady temperature. After the fog's gone in the morning, we warm up to about 64, southwesterly winds up to 24 miles per hour, anywhere from 11 to 24. So a breezy day tomorrow as the cold front rolls through. Mostly cloudy skies and a 70% chance of showers will sum up your Saturday. By Saturday night, I think we'll see just mostly cloudy skies with a pesky breeze, west wind 10 to maybe 20 miles per hour. So it's still going to be breezy tomorrow night, but I think the showers should by and large be gone. I won't say completely, but by and large. Those are real technical terms when you're talking about the weather. Sunday, still cloudy, 54 degrees as the cold front pushes cold air in or leaves it behind. 54, 42, your high, your low. Still a lingering 50% chance of showers that might give us less than a tenth of an inch. So we need the rain, not going to get it. Monday, a lingering 20% chance of showers, I think, mostly cloudy skies, still into the 50s. We will climb out of that hole by Wednesday of next week when we get back to the 60s, and I think 62 and mostly sunny for your Wednesday, closer to 67, 68, and mostly sunny on your Thursday with a returning but modest 20% chance of showers Thursday of next week. Mid-60s, still some sunshine, still some shower chances on your Friday of next week. Where the trend goes from there in the pattern, well, that's a limb that I'm not going out on at this hour, but you know what and where my hopes are, I am sure, as are yours.
That's it. Happy Friday. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful evening if you can at all. Again, they are numbered, and no one's saying this is or isn't the last like it, but I am saying that I hope to see you back here Monday for the next edition of Your News Today on what will be the 16th day of October, which will officially put us over the halfway mark of the 10th month already. Whew. Good night. Thanks for watching.